Écho. Écho. All right. Écho. Okay. Hello. Alors, est-ce que vous m'écoutez? Est-ce qu'il y en a des personnes qui m'écoutent de votre côté? S'il vous plaît, vous pouvez laisser cela. Me le laisser savoir dans le chat. Je ne sais même pas si ce micro-ci fonctionne comme ça devrait. Est-ce qu'il y en a qui m'écoutent? Ok. Bonsoir. Ok, good. Vous m'écoutez. Merci. Merci pour le feedback. Alors, la conversation aujourd'hui se voudra être très directe. Ok. On ira droit au but. Est-ce que vous me voyez également? Je suis très limité en termes de tout ce que j'ai à regarder en même temps, tous les différents écrans que j'ai à regarder, juste pour savoir dans le chat, est-ce que vous... Yeah, by the way, Hassan, the session is going to be in English. Yes, it's going to be in English. And Christina, I'm going to share with you the link to join to hop on the call very soon. So thank you. All right. So the session is going to be in English, but the slides are in French because based on the data that I've got from the registration process, it was actually, let's say the countries were mainly Canada, Cameroon, France. Surprisingly, France was actually third in the list, and Canada as well. And I guess people from Quebec would be highly connected. So the session would be in English. I may happen to say some words in French, but yeah, the session is going to be in English. But please, I need to confirm two things. The first one is to know if you people are looking at, if you people have access to the screen, the slide share, and if you can see me. Actually, if you can't see me, it's not a big deal. but I just want to know if you can see the screen. And I would really appreciate the feedbacks from the comments. So I do have access to the comments here. So any feedback will be highly appreciated. Okay. Let me see if I can access YouTube. Okay. Thank you for the feedbacks. Thank you very much. So now, just to confirm, do you have access to the wide screen or the vertical one? Because I'm sharing both. You only have access to the, let's say, the phone size screen, then I might change it to the wide one. Yes, we can see you on the screen. Thank you. So let's get started in about 3 minutes. Okay, you can see both. All right, then. You know what? Maybe I should just go ahead and share one size screen. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you, Hassan. That's the slide. I'm talking about the size of the screen. Okay. Good. So we're gonna start in about uh 1 to 2 minutes. All right. Yes. Okay. Now, don't worry. I actually removed the slide. Um, let's just wait for people to get started. All right, kindly give me a second. Just grabbing something here. All right. Okay. Now let's get started. So I'm going to share the screen again, and we will get it from there. What do we wait to start? We were waiting for probably me to get started, or let's say to set. Yeah. So I'm going to share the screen, and we will actually have somebody, Christina from MILA, join us. Um, she's going to give us a little bit of feedback and answer some of the questions you people could have. So Yeah, please let me know if you could see the screen. All right, good. All things good. Okay. Okay, good. So maybe before I start, I would like to give some what would you call it? Some warnings or notes. Okay, this is a personal initiative, and for some of the things that I would mention here, I'm not necessarily 100% accredited to give those feedbacks. And it's important to mention that. So for example, I'm going to be talking about how to join MILA as an industry partner. I'm currently uh, joining MILA not only as a research student, but also as a startup. So those are the two profiles that I have at MILA. Okay, but for some other profiles, like how to join as a postdoc, how to join as an industry partner, or all the other topics that we would talk about, the other profiles that we would talk about, I'm sharing them as I've read, as I've interacted with those people, not from the experience that I have with them. So that is just a little warning. So just to introduce myself, I mean, just for a little remarks, I would really appreciate for some of you who have access to a computer to use the computer. The phone wouldn't be necessarily right or convenient for whatever that we're coming to do, because we will be going through the Mila portal, and for some of those needs, we would appreciate to have a computer rather than a phone. So that is just a comment. Now, another important thing is within the program, we're going to touch, as I was saying, different profiles in we're going to approach different profiles on how to join Mila. We're going to talk about how to join Mila as an industry partner, as a researcher, including internship, for example, master's and PhD research, and also join Mila as postdoc, for example, and also as employee. So maybe I should give a little bit of brief about Mila, but I won't stick to it that much. So Mila is one of these top AI institute or research institute in the world, having more than 1,400 researchers, and also more than 140 partners, industry partners. Okay? And of course, those stats are beyond that. And the vision of Mila is to be a reference in terms of scientific research, especially progress in AI worldwide. And of course, you have the link to join, or let's say to read more about Mila. No need to mention Joshua Benjo, I believe. If you guys are connected to the live stream, you might know him. So what about me? Basically, I joined Mila 2 years ago as initially as a PhD student both at Poly and Mila. Now I have stopped the PhD program, and currently I'm running a startup which is also, let's say, which is also part of the Mila incubation that I will be talking about very soon. So why am I doing this live stream? For the last 2 years, since I've joined Mila, I've received a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of requests on how to proceed, how to join Mila. That's a good piece. Okay. A lot of questions on how to join Mila, and I am personally very, very interested when it comes to education. So for the last 2 years, I've run a lot of programs around scholarships, how to get a scholarship, how to travel abroad for scholarship for studies. And also Mila was part of those teaching courses that I've offered. And also you can see and watch all of them online. So those are the main aspect or the main elements which drove me to, let's say, launch this event. And recently I joined the Black at MILA event, and we were all in the room, people from different horizon, Black people. We had a great conversation, and some of them mentioned, or let's say some people that I interacted with mentioned having more Black at MILA because we are underrepresented. And I don't want this discussion to focus around Black people because that's really not the case. What I really wanted to highlight by that is when you look at the chart, this chart at MILA, I took it just a couple of weeks ago. Those black dots that you could see are the origins of researchers at MILA. Of course, it might not be accurate, okay, because not everybody would come there and pin where they are from. But from the little data that we have there, we see there are some regions that are definitely underrepresented. And why does it matter? It doesn't matter because of the pride of saying that, oh, this region is represented. We're talking about research, okay? And in whatever that we do, especially in AI and ethics in AI, we need representation. It's a must, considering where AI is going nowadays. So we absolutely need more representation, not for the sake of pride of being represented, saying that my country is represented. Actually, not even at MILA, but in research in general, or let's say when it comes to scientific research in AI, it's an emergency. It's a need for people to get active when it comes to, let's say, for people from different horizons, different origins, especially underrepresented countries to get involved and get when it comes to research. So this is a map which just gave me an alert that we need people to get involved, not necessarily at MILA, but in research in general. So don't narrow this down to MILA only, all right? Now, why MILA? MILA is, what would you say, a research, in French, we call it ONG, all right? It's a research community. And as a research community, as a center of research for people, we need to accommodate the maximum range, the biggest range of horizon that we could. So MILA is actually open to have many people from different horizons. But the issue is they as those underrepresented regions might not be aware of the opportunities of joining MILA when it comes to joining MILA. Also, there is this conception from people outside, which is definitely biased, but there is this conception of being unable or not having the skills or not being skilled enough to join MILA. So there is this view that we have when it comes to these big institutions that I hope I would be able to break in some of the minds connected to this live stream. So there is no reason to not to apply because you think you might not be able to perform, or it's not your place, or for whatever reasons. Okay. And of course, we call that limited bias, limited beliefs. And so I hope throughout this video, we would be able to break some of those limiting beliefs. So, but technically, how to join MILA? There are several ways, okay, when it comes to joining MILA. You can join MILA as a profile, let's say, as academician. I don't know if that's something we say, but related to academia, okay? You can join MILA on a professional, let's say from a professional perspective, okay? It could be as a staff member, as a employee at MILA. And by the way, MILA has a lot of employees. The beautiful thing about that is they get to also work remotely. So you can join MILA that way. You can also join MILA as a partner, and we're going to go through that very fast. However, something I would like to mention is we're going to start with the partners. We're also going to talk about the professional way to join MILA, as I mentioned, staff member, uh, as fast as possible. And we're going to spend more time on the academic profile. So as a research student, uh, research intern, for example, master's or PhD student, and of course, postdoc. That's where we're going to spend more time. And I found urgent to have this meeting today rather than tomorrow or in a couple of days because the portal to apply to MILA, the deadline is actually in 2 days or 3 days. So you don't have enough time to think through. I think my camera has stopped. Maybe. Okay, 1 second. What's this? Okay. Goodness. Right. Isn't this interesting? So, okay. As I was saying, we're going to spend more time on the academic profile. That's where we're going to spend most of the time. Let me go on. So when it comes to the professional profile, staff administration, when it comes to work itself, they have different calls, okay? Different people, different profiles that they need to support the whole research ecosystem. We have people from IT, people from HR, people from different horizons. And as I mentioned earlier, Christina is also going to be joining very soon, and she works at MILA. So MILA is not only about research. There are people supporting that whole research ecosystem. And last week or the week before, I was part of this training program for the staff at MILA, and I was quite amazed to see the diversity of people working for MILA for researchers. So when you join MILA, you are not left alone. You have a whole research ecosystem supporting you to reach your goals. So you can join MILA to work at MILA to support researchers, not necessarily to do research. There are uh, different opportunities, and of course, you can look at it on the career website of MILA, or let's say career page on MILA's website. The other way to join MILA is as industry partner. And mainly, there are two main programs there, okay? The first one is as a company, as an industry. You connect with MILA because you want to connect with researchers to work on one of the projects that you have. So assume you are a business owner and you are interested in AI. You've heard about the potential of AI in your business and you want to know if that's something you can leverage. Well, you can join MILA as an industry partner, and with MILA, they will figure out how to connect you with the right researchers to get you started on your project. Okay, they give you access to that. And of course, with the events that comes with it, the trainings that comes with it. Mila has a lot and a variety, variety, voila, a lot of different trainings for professional, for startups, or let's say for companies. So one could join Mila for those reasons. And of course, we won't deny the branding aspect of Mila, right? Having Mila connected to your company is always worth it. So for some of those reasons, people could join Mila. Another reason, another program is to join Mila as a startup. As I was mentioning earlier, I recently started this adventure, startup adventure, and I joined Mila. In this program, they call it the ELAB program, where basically they gather students, and of course, it's restricted to students at least affiliated to MILA. They gather them to ideate about their project, ideate about the business that they want to build. Of course, all of those have in common that they are connected to AI some way, somehow, or to science, because it's all about taking ideas or, yeah, ideas from the research that you do and trying to convert that in a solution that you can bring to the world. So they have that program, but also they have the MILA startup program. Okay, I wish some of those, let's say, member of the committee could talk about that more. But the MILA startup program is what would you call an incubator to help and support startups affiliated to MILA. So those are options if you are not as I mentioned, if you're not interested to connect as a worker, if you have a company, if you want to start a business, if you have a startup, you can connect with MILA for those reasons. And of course, you have access, as I said earlier, to the whole ecosystem, the trainings and the researchers connected to MILA. Now, this is where we're going to stress a lot. And so far, I want to know if there are questions related to the two main part we talked about. Do we have questions? Let me look at the chat. If we do, you can see the screen. Good. So I would be getting Christina, sorry, my bad. Christina connected in a bit. And as I said, she works for MILA. She works at the MILA, and she also has this comment or feedback she wants to give when it comes to the program, to how to join MILA as a researcher, basically. She's going to give us a little bit of feedbacks about that. So please, I would just send her an invite. And while she connects, I would continue. If you have questions, feel free to write in the chat. So I see a question here. After being graduated from AIMS, you obtained a scholarship in Canada, or there is a spread between. Yeah, when I finished my master's at AIMS, as I said earlier, I joined MILA initially as a PhD student. So my scholarship was for the PhD. That's how I got at MILA. Okay. So Christina, I just shared with you the link. And of course, this conversation will be recorded and available on the YouTube channel. So you people will have access to that. So Christina, I'll be waiting for you in the room. So what's next? You can join MILA as a professor, okay? I try to cover as much as possible the range of people. Thank you, Christina. I'm gonna connect you in a bit. You can join MILA as a professor, and usually you need actually to get the professorship contract from the university and connect with MILA and see how to get done the affiliation to MILA. You can also join MILA as a postdoc. But just like the next aspect that we're going to see in a bit, as a postdoc, you need to have a supervisor from MILA. You also need to be connected to the university as a postdoc, okay? And of course, you need to go through the portal. We will talk about the portal in a bit. So now, the other part is as a research intern. You can join MILA as a research intern, and unfortunately, some colleagues that I was expecting to join the call who did, let's say, their internship at MILA are not around. So I believe an internship at MILA is one of the top ways to get started. For those who might be wondering, well, maybe I'm not sure about doing a master's or doing a PhD. Maybe I don't want to get in a long program, all right? I would say the ideal way would be to connect, or let's say join a research program at MILA. Of course, for you to get started, you need to have a supervisor connected to MILA. You also need what would you call a connection to a university. Why is that important? MILA is a research lab and it works with institutions. It works with universities. So you need to have this connection to the university and a connection to MILA for it to work. And usually the process will take up to 12 months. This is really the maximum. As soon as possible, you have a supervisor, you reach out for a supervisor, and we're going to see that in a bit how to get those supervisors. When you connect with them, of course, following right rules, you have you basically send them an email or a well-written document to ask or request for a supervisor, for a supervision. And when all that process is done, then ideally you apply to MILA. Why? Because when you submit your document at MILA, you also need to pin who is the supervisor that you want to supervise you at MILA. So that's ideal when you already connected with the supervisor. So you can join MILA as a research intern, ideally. Now, how about masters and PhD? Some people want to do a PhD or a master's and they want to get to be affiliated to MILA. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, and let me add Christina to the call. Hello, Christina, you are muted. Christina, you are muted.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Excellent. We can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Elnathan. Thanks for the initiative. Hello, everyone. I'm Christina. So I'm part of the MILA staff at the Academic Affairs team, and I've been coordinating the recruitment at MILA for some time now. So I'm happy to give you an overview. I know it can be very overwhelming because there are actually many different options you can join MILA, as Elnathan was explaining. So if you're interested in doing a research at MILA, we say sometimes that there's like a 4 portes d'entrée. There's like 4 different ways you can get to MILA. One is a graduate program, and I'm sharing here my screen because I want to go. Yeah, this is the MILA website. If you go here on the prospective students page, you see one of the options then is the master or PhD, is a graduate program. There's also some professional master's diploma that you can do. But for that, they are not initially funded. So it might be a challenge if you're coming, depending on where you're coming from. If you're an international student like myself as well, it's hard to come to Montreal without the funding to start the program. There's also research internships and postdocs. Yeah, that has the 4 options. So as Elnathan was saying, we do have a process we call supervision request process. It's an annual process. It's not like an application to MILA because you're not a student at MILA. You have to be registered in university. What we do here, we created this process to help folks find a supervisor that is necessary for you to come to MILA to be funded as well. So initially we called this like a matching process where we try to match applicants with professors. The process was created by Joshua Benjo, like in 2017, I think. It was also a way for professors to collaborate and maybe find like co-supervision together for the same student. So you apply for this process to try to find a supervisor. That is the main, the first step you have to take. And it's free to apply. The deadline is approaching soon, so I'm not sure if you have time to apply because it's already on Monday. I mean, if you do have your CV, motivation letter, documentation ready, maybe you can still apply. And let me show you. That's the page here, supervision requests. If you click here, submit a supervision request, then, okay, no, that's not my, you're gonna get this page here. You just create your email and name, and you create a profile on our portal. That's a portal that all students, professors use at MILA. Once you're there, that's the page you're gonna see. There's an option here, apply to MILA. And here are the two processes we have. So right now I'm explaining about the master and PhD. It's currently open, but only until Monday at midnight. If you click here, you see all the sections of the application. If you still think you can try, I would recommend you quickly submit this section first, letter of recommendation. You have just to include the name of the recommender and the email, and then click submit, and then MILA will send the link to the recommender to upload the letter. Even though the deadline is December 1st, we will leave the link open. So for some recommenders that might be late in uploading the letters, they're still going to be able to do it after the deadline on December 1st. So maybe if you can quickly reach out to your recommenders and have at least 1 or 2 letters uploaded, that would be great. And you can submit this section and then come back to the application. And then over the weekend, you can complete the rest of the sections, okay? Oh, this is in French, but yeah, there's English or French. I know it's a little bit last minute maybe for you, but as I said, it's free to apply. We have 89 professors that are recruiting via this process this year, and they'll be looking for applicants. They'll be selecting from December 2nd until this February 15. So maybe it's an opportunity for you to showcase your profile here. Why we also created this, we know that many applicants, sometimes they don't have the opportunity to do much networking, to travel, to meet professors in conferences. So we try to put in place a process that is fair for everyone, where you have the same documentation from all applicants. When you have an evaluation group, we have students. This year we have 65 evaluators. There's an evaluation committee. We do the assignments of applications for them. These evaluators, they will score applications to help the professors in the selection. And we do the assignments by region of the world, by same research topic, and similar supervisor. So probably say someone applying from Africa that had the academic background in Africa, this application will be evaluated by, probably there's the Black at MILA community that helps us. So for a senior PhD or postdoc from the Black at MILA group at MILA. And they'll be able to leave information for the professors about, different specificities of your region, of your academic system. Like, in this country, it's very hard to get a good GPA, or it's not culturally common to write reference letters, or these details that the professors might not be familiar with, and they really appreciate. So this is one of the efforts we are putting in place because we want to hire more diversity. And we also have available for professors 2 EDI filters. One is women or no binary, and the other one designated groups. You can choose to disclose that information if you want. The professors will be able to filter and select more diversity on their labs. And we started with those filters last year, and an information we have already from the data we collected. For example, for women, no-binary gender diverse individuals, we received 90% of the applications were from women last year. And the offers made were 28% were made to women. So that shows that the proportion of offers extended to women exceeds significantly their representation in the application pool. That was the first time this happened, and maybe because of the filters. We also check the quality of the application, not the quality, but because evaluators can score applications, and they score based on, criteria like research experience, publications, all this, but also potential, skills, motivation. They will try to find this in your motivation letter, in the letters of reference or somewhere. It doesn't matter if you have a gap year, if you had challenges, you have to be honest on your motivation letter and let them know, because it's more about the skills. Most professors are more looking about the skills you have to be at MILA to conduct a research rather than number of publications, say for PhD. But so we did this, we ran the stats on different groups, and it's pretty much the same. It's very, very close, like the score distribution, like excellent and very good applications for, white male applicants, and compared to women, compared to designated groups. And because we've been participating at the conference in Africa, in Daba, and we've been supporting these applicants. I was there in Rwanda this year and in Senegal last year. We also did the ones from Indaba, from the African applications, and it's pretty much the same. So it means that we have quality applications in all groups, and we have this filter. So we are really looking for more international. We already have a huge international community at MILA. 66% of our community is international, but definitely women, Black, and this representation we are looking for. So again, if you don't have time to apply for the process, you can, as Elnathan was saying, you can always reach out to the professor directly. It's not mandatory to go through this process. It's just that it increases your chances to be seen. Sometimes you send emails to professors, they don't reply. This process, every application is seen by a human, by one of our evaluators. And because of the filters, the research topics, professors, it's really helpful for them to see you, see your application. And with nearly 90 profs participating and recruiting, so it's really an opportunity. We've been having the success rate is about 10 to 13 in the past 2 years that we receive offers, and about 30 will have interviews, 30%, 30, 35. So also if you have an interview, it's a chance for you to talk to the professor, to get feedback, to maybe come to MILA to other programs, not necessarily a master or PhD. So it's a great opportunity as well. I'm talking very fast because I don't want to take all the time for the live. Okay. Sorry about that.
Actually, please, you are actually doing a great job. That was part of what was about to come. So please go ahead. Take your time.
Thank you. And then I'm back here on Apply to MILA. As I mentioned, there's 2 options, though this one is open until December 1st. And then for research, intern, and postdoc, it's going to be open on December 2nd. Once we close the other one, there's a little thing we had to fix on the platform. So you can also apply for internship and a postdoc. If you're coming from international, if you're an international student, I think professors I'm not sure. You could still come for an internship. Sometimes they come for an internship and then they end up staying for a master or PhD. But either application you do, if you're able to get an interview with the professor, that's a moment where you can explore different possibilities for your profile, for your matching, for your research. Elnathan, feel free to add anything if you want. But
all right. Well, I would let you walk through. If you're done, then I'm going to ask you some questions. I do have some questions for you, though.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just complete it here. Just to let you know that, like, for PhD and master, it's a more like structured process. We have a start, we have an end. We're gonna get back to you if you were selected or not. If you're not selected, because many applications are good, but it's still not selected. It's like rather if you're matched to the professor, to what professors are looking that year. So there's a little bit of luck involved as well, as always. And for postdoc and internship, we don't have this. Is more like a database. You submit your application and we keep a database that is available to professors at MILA. So when they have a position, they may or may not come and check this database. You're not expected to have an answer. We don't have visibility over the internship positions we have at MILA. And just to complete here, one important step you have to take as well is to identify potential supervisors. We do have many professors at MILA. So do some research here. You'll be surprised to see the amount of different professors and different work being done at MILA. We recently welcome 18 new professors in September. So there's always new professors joining. They are participating in the supervision request process. They might be not that known, but some of them are new and they're actually looking to form their labs. So that's an opportunity as well. I always say maybe it's a good idea for you to when you apply to this process, maybe select some more senior professors, but also some more junior ones and see how it goes. Because it's more competitive for some professors than others. And this is the MILA directory that you can find right here on the top here, directory, English or French. These are the 4 options you select. These are our faculty members. And then if you click on any of them, you'll be able to see here below research topics, their websites and the social media they prefer to use. So if you really find a match, I advise you start following them on the research, on the social media as well, because they usually publish positions there as well, or the kind of profile they're looking for. And then there's a biography, all their lab, the students working with them. You can maybe check here, maybe you know someone, maybe you can connect to a student, and the publications. On the directory, you can search here for keywords. It will only search the keywords on the bio. Some professors have like a shorter bio. So I already did some tests. Sometimes if it's a very specific research, you might not be fine here. So you have to try. Besides the directory, you can also come here on research and click on publications. Maybe here you can put more specific wording and you find the work that's being published by MILA professors, and the MILA members will be underlined. Like here, the first one, you click on professor photo, you'll see the profile here. If you don't know much where to start, there's always our strategic priorities here, these 6 areas. Say you're interested in applications of AI and health, you click in health. And there's also going to be the list of faculty members working on AI applications and health here. So yeah, as I said, it's a lot to explore. So I would start by identifying the professors and then applying to our process, if you can, to our 2 process on the My MILA portal, and reaching out to the professors, follow them on their social media to see their posts about opportunities. And yeah, we also, on the supervision request process, I forgot to mention, we also have a tag that evaluators can use for unusual profiles, unexpected profiles. So any background that is not like the traditional we're expecting, anything really, it's professors are really open to receive this different backgrounds, diversity. As we always say, like we're not only looking for people to join the labs or MILA, but to add to MILA. So we don't want more of the same, but trying to have these applicants. But yeah, that's it for me, I guess, Elnathan. It was very quick, but hopefully for next year we'll organize a webinar together. Maybe you can put this information on a document for you.
Well, this is already recorded, so it's going to be helpful for the upcoming years. We do have some questions, though. So the first one is from Doug. I don't know if he's Doug Moy. The question is, can we apply before completing our master's? I guess, how long are you from completing the master's? Please, you could answer that.
Yes, you have to complete the master's before August next year. So you can, same thing for the bachelor's, if you're applying to a master, even if you didn't finish, no problem. You just add information, but you have to have completed it before starting in the fall, that's September next year. So if you're finishing next summer, I'm saying summer here, but you have to have completed the program until August 2026 to be starting.
Good. Well, thank you. And by the way, in that circumstance, everything that you already mentioned still holds, right? The process, the connecting with the supervisor, although you've not completed the master's yet.
Yeah, it's the same process. Yeah.
Okay. The other question is, I'm a Google DeepMind scholar and doing my AI for Science Masters at AIM South Africa in September. What advice would you give someone at my stage to be competitive for research internship? Well, maybe we can broaden it to research in general. When it comes to competitivity, what would you say or recommend as advice in the selection process? How to set ourselves up?
Yeah, that's it's hard for me to answer because, like, from my experience with professors, it's really like it's very varied what they're looking for, the profiles. So some professors, they might be more willing to offer more time to mentor a student. So they might be willing to take someone that doesn't have that much experience or has not done like much yet, but that has show potential. Other professors, they want someone more like, that more like ready, that can work more independently. That's what I've been seeing. And at some point, we even survey professors to ask them what aspects of an application they look at most. We asked them, and because I wanted to have an idea. And it was hard because it was really like, for example, publications. Some of them said not publications. I don't look at publications. And some of them publications first, like for PhD, just an example. So I would recommend that you do this work of identifying a professor whose work is aligned with what you want to do. And maybe if you're not sure of what you want to do, moving on, it's also this research on the MILA directory and professors. Maybe you find that's a really interesting work that I haven't thought about. And maybe you'll be interested, you become interested by some of the topics and some of the research the professors are doing at MILA. So try to understand what the professors are looking for and see what you think it's important for them. Check the profile of the students they are already working with. So see where you can fit and what you think it's missing. Like, if you're really interested by a professor, take their lab, see what the profile of the students are, reach out to the students, try to see what's important for the professor. It's hard because it's not like a job position that we know the profile and that I could advise.
Exactly.
Like different profs are looking for different profiles. So it's all about knowing what you want to do and who you want to work with, and try to add more to your CV that's maybe linked to what the professor is looking for or working or, yeah.
Thank you. Well, we have a lot of questions. Maybe I would just take their questions first. So the other question is, after selecting the supervisor in MILA application website, must we reach out to the supervisors? Because certain supervisors says through their website that the MILA procedure is the only ways. But I believe you got it in the answer, right? If they say it's the only way, then for them it's the only way. I think my camera.
Yeah, you can always try to reach out by email, but professors are really busy. They won't be able to answer all the emails. That's why they prefer to have everything on the platform and select from them. But again, you can always try to send like at least a quick email and inform them that you submit your application. But if it's written there that you should follow the MILA procedure, it means that they won't get back to you. They're too busy with emails.
Which is fine, by the way. You just need to follow the process that they put in place. Well, the follow-up to that question is, and also through my understanding, it is parallel procedure precisely. Like we should also apply to the university or the professor we are interested in working with. Absolutely living for him. You got it. So basically, you can't eventually be accepted to MILA if you are not connected to the university, of course, in the scope of a research program. Maybe Christina, you can stress more on that.
So for the applicants of our process, we always advise we start the application to the university of affiliation of the professors you selected at the same time. So go there, and there's the links on the application form on the MILA website as well. Click there, see the requirements, start uploading your documents as well. Be aware of the deadlines. Some deadlines are very early, but even if you miss the deadline, I cannot promise that, but if you miss the deadline, if a professor of MILA wants to work with you, MILA will also try to get you an authorization for a late for the university to accept your application, even if it's after the deadline. We always try to help students, because we don't want you to pay the fees for nothing if you don't have an offer yet. So we should just maybe wait for the offer, and then MILA will assist you with that. If possible, we will try.
The follow-up question to that was, shall we wait for the response of MILA before applying to the university? So she just answered.
Yeah.
The other
but
question
you should start, have the application ready. You should already start, upload the documents. You don't have to pay the fee and submit, but you have to leave everything ready, and also check the requirements, because MILA, we don't have requirements. It's more like a matching process, but like university, they have GPA requirements, etc. So we have to check if you have all the requirements.
Good. I feel like I have a lot of people from AIMS in the room. The other question is it required to have a master's transcript for PhD application? Because at AIMS, we can only get the transcript after finishing the coursework. So I guess the person is interested in knowing if MILA, we do need to submit the transcripts on the MILA portal.
Yes, if you don't have them, you can even get like an official transcripts at AIMS. No?
Unofficial, yeah. We can ask for that, yeah.
Yeah, we accept an official as well. But again, if you don't have it, you can just put the transcripts from your bachelor's. Again, we are quite flexible. It's not like university. We don't have like requirements. You upload and submit the information you have available. Of course, the more information we have, the better. But you'll be able to apply, even though if you have any official transcripts or anything that you can add, that will help. If not, you can just inform. There's a text box for you to inform about those things. Yeah.
Good.
And I know it's kind of a lot of work, I would say, like MILA and university. But I also think that once you get an offer from MILA, from the university, like having this dual affiliation is very beneficial. You know, it's a way you'll be able to benefit from resources in both MILA and university, like scholarships. You can apply to university and at MILA as well. So it's a world of possibilities that will be open for you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We have another question. If I understand correctly, we submit a request for a supervisor and then contact the supervisors to be accepted into the partner university, or is there something else? Well, maybe I would reformulate, also asking maybe in a different way. So you see, the way I've approached the question is, I initially got in touch with my supervisor. When I was applying to MILA, I already applied to the university portal. So I already was accepted even at the university. And also I was applying to MILA. In that context, I knew my supervisor. He's the one who asked me to apply through the MILA's portal. In that other scenario where I applied to MILA, I might not know exactly who would end up supervising me. How do I do? Should I wait to get the admission or supervise to be admitted from MILA and then try to apply to the university of that supervisor? How would you think that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we recommend you start the application at university as well, because of the university deadlines. So like checking the requirement and making sure you is that a question or
maybe yeah, I would try to complete that. You see, assuming that so far we have Poly, we have Université de Montréal, we have HEC and McGill. So I have these four.
Concordia, Sherbrooke, Laval.
Exactly. Thank you for adding that, though. Although on the website it's not mentioned. So we have those options, right? The question is, would I be applying to all of them? Well, I don't even know exactly who supervisor at MILA would be supervising me. So the point is, I think you got it.
I understand the question. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It depends on our selection of advisors. You'll be asked to select up to 3 core professors, up to 3 associate. If they come from different universities, let's say UDM and McGill, yes, ideally you would have to start the application for both, or at least check the requirements for them, so it's ready if you need to submit quickly once you receive an offer. Yeah, at least go there, check the requirements, because most of the documentation is going to be the same that you upload to MILA and to the universities. So of course, I know you have to create a profile and upload, but you are already going to have your documentation ready. So yeah, you should you should start application for both. And even professors that are not selected by you, they will also have access to your applications. So you might be reached out by a professor that's not even listed, and then it depends on their affiliation. But let's say you started your application for UDM and McGill, but then a professor from Concordia made you an offer, and you don't even know about Concordia. But in that case, the professor will probably help you, assist you, and we will try to ask for an authorization if the deadline has passed. Yeah. To be 100% sure, you have to start, but maybe you will receive an offer, and then the professor will assist you.
Okay. Well, the other question is, the person is doing his computer engineering degree, fourth year, and he wants to join MILA as a research intern. So the question is, should he finish his training or his engineering program before joining? Well, I believe it depends on the university, right? If your university gives you a room to go and do some internship, then you can do it. If you want to add something to that, Christina, you can go ahead.
Yeah, because to be an intern at MILA, you need to be a student registered somewhere in the world. So that's the idea. Usually for internships, who comes to MILA for internships are people doing their master's or their PhD, and then they come for an internship during their program somewhere else. You need to be registered. You need to be a student to be an intern at MILA. Absolutely. We also have another status that we call collaborator. That's for when you're like between master and PhD, or you're not registered and you want to come to MILA. That's also a possibility. It's a little bit different. It's like you have to sign a consultant contract. But again, these kinds of details will be negotiated and discussed with the professor. If you get an interview, that's the hardest and the most important part. You'll be able to explore together these possibilities of which is the best status for my situation. But so the answer is like both. You could come during your course if the university allows you to come, or if you can come, or you can finish and then try to come for internship before continue your studies.
Well, let's take this question, the last one. Well, this one, I believe you already got the answer. It says, also we have 6 supervisors to choose. If you got the master's and PhD path, our profile will be also open to the other supervisor. Yes, your profile will be open to other supervisors, as she mentioned. Yes.
They will probably search.
Yeah, go ahead.
They will probably search by research topics. So the research topics you include on the application are very important. That's the filters the professors will use. And our evaluators, they can also recommend a different faculty member when they see your application. And they will see the research topics. Yeah. You can be contacted by any professor.
We have another question regarding scholarships. The question is, are the research internship funded for the whole, I believe the whole time. So, I mean, the whole program. So how does it work in terms of funding? Maybe you can share a little bit more about the funding aspect of all the programs we talked about.
Yeah, that's why it's important to have a professor. The funding is coming from the professor, and they will pay you a stipend. It's like a salary. So you're going to be negotiating with the professors the amount that you're going to receive. It can vary from professor to professors. There are some recommendations, but of course they will consider the cost of living in Montreal and an amount that The cost of living has increased a lot, but this will be discussed in the interview. They also usually, if you're international students, they might pay for your frais de scolarité, tuition fees. I know some professors that they also see. I don't know how was your experience, Elnathan. Some professors, they might help with the flight tickets, the déplacement. But of course, they won't pay the rent because you're going to be using your stipend for your cost of living.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll take this last question, and for the questions regarding scholarships and all of that, I do have some slides for you guys. So maybe the last question would be related to, well, I think we already answered this. You don't need the question of prior experience in research or not would depend on the professor. It depends on the profile. Yeah.
For master, they won't be considered that much research experience for master. For PhD, for most professors, it's important to have some research experience. Industry, we also have faculty, we have industry faculty members and academic members at MILA. So some of the professors you see on the applications, they have an industrial affiliation as well. For them, it might be interesting if you have some experience on applied machine learning or industry as well. But again, it's not mandatory. I mean, really depends on the problem.
This is another question. The last is going to be, the question is regarding the language barrier. If we come from a country where the education is in French, should we submit our file in French or in English? CV and other necessary files.
Both languages are accepted. We receive applications from French and English, but honestly, some professors, most, but not all, speak French, and some prefer French and not English. But they will be able to assess your application as well. They use the translators, but most of them they do speak both, the evaluators as well. So whatever you feel more comfortable, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Christina. Thank you very much. I think we don't have any other questions, and thank you for jumping on. You actually covered all the other parts that I intended. So thank you very much. Okay, so I would add. I have some slides for some of you asked questions regarding the scholarships. So for the last 2 years, I've spent quite some time exploring, or let's say interviewing professors, research students, people who got at least 2 scholarships, masters and PhDs, more than 50. So some of those interviews, you would see that on the very YouTube channel that is broadcasted up. So this is a recap of what I've got from them. I just realized it's very small, so maybe I would just open. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in. All right. Okay, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. So ideally, I got a question regarding the flight ticket and everything. Ideally, you want to make sure that you are ready in terms of finances, financial expenses, for example. It could be one of them. You want to make sure that you are ready also when it comes to the documentation, the passport, the language. You need to make a list of what you have as resources. That's the ideal way to get started. You can't go or plan to go somewhere if you don't even know what you have as resources, right? The other point is regarding the destination. In this case, we're talking about, the research interest or the domain. In this case, we would mainly be around AI, okay? But you need to narrow down exactly what in AI you want to work on. as Christina mentioned, the profiles on the website are also categorized in terms of research interest. So if you want to look for a professor, ideally, you want to know the field that you are interested in. And of course, that's also an element that would step you up compared to other people. If you have a very specific interest on federated learning, for example, then you would go on the website and look for people who are working in the field. You want to know what you're working on. You, in terms of destination, in this context, we are talking about MILA, so it does answer the question. Let me just wrap up to this. Yes. Oops. Okay. So it does answer the question. Now, how to find scholarships? As Christina said, the funding you get is directly from the supervisor, because we are talking about a research program. You get funding from the supervisor. Of course, you can leverage other opportunities that you might have, scholarships from the university, scholarships that you also could have internally from MILA. By the way, they do share in the MILA email list quite a number of scholarships. So you can leverage those, but ideally you want to have a stable source of income. So how to find those scholarships? I believe there are several ways to do that, and this is the list. And of course, this document or this recap, I have it for free on my website, so you guys can have access to that. Now, you need to contact the professor. MILA gives that luxury of connecting with them through the portal. That's great. But for some of other programs outside there, you might not have that. You're going to have to contact them independently. So you would do that by looking at the repository of professors on the website of the university that you're interested in. So if you go on Polytechnic's website, you would find that repository of researchers, or let's say professors. You would find it there. You can also reach out to them via email that you get from those websites. You can also reach out to them directly on the social media, on LinkedIn. Those who have, some of you who don't have any LinkedIn appearance, I think it's ideal to start working on that. So when it comes to the application process, basically, you apply, as we mentioned earlier. You're going to do the same thing at the university. Okay, you're going to apply at the university the same way you'll be applying at MILA. They have different processes. When it comes to North America in general, you need to pay fees. And most of the people who got some scholarships like END, they are not used to paying fees for a scholarship. Well, you would in North America. So you need to know exactly where you are going to. Where you are going, and get ready for that. That's why the assess your resources is very important. Now, when you apply, it could take some time. And I want to stress a little bit on that. Some people will apply to a program and basically would not have everything ready for whatever program that they are getting into. So this is a very typical case. Some of you might apply for a master's or PhD program, but not considering the fact that even if you get the admission, you would have to get the visa. All we spoke about today is not related to having the visa. You would definitely need a visa. And the visa process is a whole lot of work. It's something quite difficult and challenging. And so you need to think about that. You need to plan it out. You need also to make sure you have the resources for that. For the visa, for example, you might have to provide, they call it, I even forgot, casier judiciaire, for example. You will have to provide passports. Some people might have a passport that will be expiring in a couple of months. Ideally, you want to make sure that you have all those basics. We can't stress enough on that. Okay. It's not all about getting the admission. I know a lot of people who got the admission, but they eventually didn't go to the university or join the program because of all of those other challenges, or let's say aspects or parameters that they don't consider. I want to talk a little bit about what would you say, the process when you get the scholarship, when you get the admission, when you are ready to come, assuming to MILA. You would have ideally to plan out your travel. Okay, where are you going to stay? If you have this meeting with your supervisor, he says he's going to be providing you with a scholarship. Well, that's good. How about the flight tickets? Do you already have that? Would you take some debt to get it? Well, assuming you get the flight ticket, how about where you're gonna live for the next month, okay, before you settle? So all those elements are very, very important. Many people just don't consider that, or they forget. Think about that. It's something very important. When you now get to the country, to Canada, to Montreal, how does it work? Ideally, you want to join some clubs, some communities. And luckily for you, at MILA, they have a lot of communities. We talked about the Black in AI or Black at MILA community, right? They have different communities at MILA. You can join them. You can join those of your university. You can have access to those community for the sake of getting to know where you are, the ecosystem, the environment. You need to join communities. And of course, get connected to the, how do they call it? Student committees. Okay, they always have, I mean, in all the institutions, they have a student committee to support students, specifically international students. So this is a very quick process. Of course, I won't just get into that much details, but you get it. As I mentioned, you can have access to this resource and a list of scholarships for free. It's on the website. It's on my website. So I would see if I can just share with you the screen. Yeah. Well, this is not exactly it. I'm going to share with you the screen. I mean, not the screen, the link to the website. Okay. Now, I know this might be a lot for some people, and still within that period, that was really last year, I was fortunate to work with some students, both, I mean, in Africa, mainly in Africa, basically. Most of them were university students, so bachelors and masters, and they were looking for an opportunity for scholarships abroad. Unfortunately, out of 6 or 5 that were working intensively with me, 4 of them got opportunities or got scholarships. So I also have this program online, still on the website, that you can have access to. I created a very detailed, training on how to get scholarships. And of course, as I mentioned, it's not only based on my, what would you say, experiences. I've had a lot of scholarships from different horizons, but it's not based on my experiences only, mainly on people that I interviewed. And actually, I failed a lot to scholarships. So that is really a recap, what would you say, a summary of more than 3 years of my experiences, but also cumulated to all those more than 50 people that I interviewed. Some of you asked questions regarding what the supervisors look into. What is it that they are interested in? I interviewed a lot of supervisors, and of course, you have access to those interviews online for free on the website. And this program is kind of a recap of all of that. So that is pretty much it. This is exactly where I was getting ready to share with you the application portal and all the process. And thank to Christina, she did all of that in a very excellent manner. So I think this sums up the content that I wanted to share with you. I don't know if there are questions, if there are anything else you people are interested to know. If there are questions, please let me know. Otherwise, that would have been a great time with you. Great questions. And of course, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I believe some of you or most of you guys are connected to me some way, somehow on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to me if you have further questions. I'll be happy to help out. And for those who are interested in joining MILA as research students, the application closes in about 2 days on Monday, as Christina said. So hurry up, okay? And just to recap, she said, ideally you want to start with the list of letter of recommendation. So start with that while your professors are drafting your recommendation. You can be completing the remaining parts, the CV and whatsoever. So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome living for him. So this basically closes the conversation. If there is no any other question, then okay, we will still evaluate application even if there is none or one letter of reference. Well, that's a good comment. Thank you. Christina is saying we will still evaluate the application even if there is none or one letter of references or recommendation for that matter. But please submit that section ASAP. So if there is a priority, then that's the priority. But of course, it doesn't mean they won't consider your application. So if there is no other question, well, this the beauty of the live stream is it's recorded. So you guys will have access to that. You can always refer to that and hopefully it was helpful for you. So that being said, thank you for your time and feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Stay hungry and stay crazy.